we believe that there is plenty of evidence that consciousness is limited. We believe there is a full body of evidence. But we believe that only for as long as we don't try to take this evidence into consideration, to look at it. As we try to look at it, we discover there is none. I've been trying for some time.
And you found no evidence?
Yeah, usually what I do is, as friends, truth lovers, is to try together again to find whether there is such evidence. And we discover together there is none.
And you still do this process?
Yeah, it's great fun.
Traditionally it's been sometimes the question, who am I? Is that how you do it, or you have another way of doing it?
You know, all the questions, they boil down to one single question. Yes, what am I? I want to be my real I. What's the meaning of life?
And what have you found the real I to be?
What, the meaning of life?
Either the real I. But the meaning of life for me is a bit of a misused word these days. The real I interests me.
The real I is, if we look at our experience, everything we know, what I could call our human experience, everything we know it either as a thought or as a sensation in the body or as an external sense perception, something we hear, something we see. That's the nature of everything we know at the phenomenal level. Now, our experience is comprised of two sides, if you will. On the one hand, this phenomenal side. On the other hand, the consciousness that knows, right? That's all there is to our experience. That which is known, that which knows. Now, since, and also, there is, beyond the shadow of a doubt, an element of reality to our experience. If I would come to you saying, your experience is a complete illusion, it's non-existent, you would say, wait a minute. In my experience, there is something rather than nothing. What I perceive may be a dream. However, the fact that there is consciousness, that there is perceiving, is beyond the shadow of a doubt, at least to me, right?
Yes.
And the fact that it is beyond a shadow of a doubt, to me, is sufficient for me to make the statement, there is something rather than nothing. There is an element of reality to my experience. So, where does this element of reality of our experience lie? Where is it to be found? Certainly not on the perceived side of things, because that which is perceived always changes, is never the same. Thoughts, perceptions, sensations, they come and they go. Since they are not lasting, they are impermanent. Reality cannot be found there. The only thing which is permanent in our experience is the consciousness side. Therefore, the reality of our experience, the centrality of our experience, the core of our experience, is the consciousness. It is that which you call I, or the self. So I, or the self, is the reality of our experience.
But people perceive things in many different ways, and it isn't necessarily always to do with interpretation of the personality or the senses. And I wonder, is there a unique flavour for us as individuals that is still real and not just the personality playing games?
See for yourself, what is it? You know, on the one hand, that there is beyond the shadow of a doubt, an element of reality to your experience. And this reality cannot belong to that which is perceived, because after all, everything you are perceiving could be a dream in this moment. Since when we are in the midst of a dream, we are not aware that we are dreaming. The implication being, right now, we could be in some kind of a dream. I'm not saying a night dream, right? But some kind of a dream.
Yes.
And therefore, however, that which is common to dream and all the states is the consciousness of them. Therefore, since everything we perceive could be an illusion, the only place where reality could be found is in consciousness. And since we are so certain that there is an element of reality to our experience, if we add that to our understanding that it cannot, this element of reality can only be found in and as the consciousness that perceives, I think I raise my case.
There's something that, I understand what you're saying, and there's something that interests me. And if I go back to my previous question, put it in a slightly different way, I understand, and I sometimes experience, it's not my continual experience, the never-changing and the ever-changing. I have experience of that. And there's something about the never-changing that still has a meanness to it. It's it's not a real word, a meanness. It's unique to me as a human being, and it's not as if I feel there's a manipulation going on from my human side. It's like you are a unique expression of the never-changing, of the oneness, the ground of being, whatever we call it. And I feel I'm a unique expression. Everyone in this room is, everything is a unique expression. So what is it about the different forms of expression that we can somehow explain? I don't know if I put my question very well, but...
No, the answer is in your question. There are different forms of expression. That's all there is to them. There are different forms of expression. But the form, the multiplicity is in the forms, meaning in that which is perceived. Only forms are perceived. Forms belong to the perceived, not to the perceiving. So the distinction, the differences belong to the perceived, not to the perceiving.
Yes, no, I understand that. Yeah. We touched on a little bit about your life last night. I know you don't want to go into a lot of personal details, but I'd just like a little bit of an outline of how you first got interested in, let's call it a spiritual journey, or we can call it the search for the truth. I know that reading Jiddu Krishnamurti really touched you and was somehow a catalyst for you on your journey.
I think everybody gets interested at some point, in some way. Some people are born, they are born mystics. They are born with a love for the absolute stamped at the deepest of their being. Others have to go through some kind of absolute failure in their attempt to secure happiness, applying the recipes they have inherited from their parents and from society. That was my case, the second case.